You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in San Diego, bringing you the most important hour in radio, telling you everything that they don't want you to know. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important components of the credit score that most people don't even know about. We're going to go in detail. I'm going to educate you about it, how you can use it to your advantage instead of having it work against you, the way the bureaus and the banks want it to. We're going to be talking about secured credit cards, the benefits there, which there are significant, how you should go about getting one, and how really everyone should have one. We're also going to be talking about the credit of our state and really our country. So, but first, isn't it just amazing? Is greed not the root of all evil? I mean, is it not? And we've got a significant greed issue right now. Now, we're always talking about the greed that's involved with the credit bureaus. That's all it is. It's all about money, and that's the only thing that matters to them. Same thing with the banks, but now we're seeing it bleed into our government, onto Wall Street. This stuff is unbelievable, and you could make the argument that greed is the root of all evil, and I've had this argument with someone who is arguing with me that religion was actually the cause of all wars. And I disagree, because it's actually the greed that caused the big person, whoever it was, the Hitler, whoever it was, to use the religion to get their pawns to go and fight their wars for them. Now, if you want to see a really cool documentary about this one I watched not too long ago, it's called Why We Fight. And you could even make the argument pretty easily that greed is involved in the wars that we fight in the United States. And Why We Fight is a documentary that I think everyone should watch, just so you can get the facts. It's very non-biased. They're actually just presenting the facts about how greed works. And it's important to understand greed, because if you start to understand it, and what it causes people to do, you can start to understand a lot of the things that happen to you on an everyday basis, because we're surrounded by it. And it's one of the greatest influences in our financial lives, especially when we look at credit scoring. Because everything the credit bureaus do is based on greed. It's based on money. And if you don't know that that's what they're thinking when they do something, you'll misinterpret what they're trying to do. FreeCreditReport.com is a perfect example. Has anyone ever got a free credit report from FreeCreditReport.com? Yes, but what do you have to do? You have to go in and sign up for their service, where they charge you $20 a month, and then you have to cancel it before they actually charge you. So you can get a free credit report, but it's not supposed to be free. That is the credit bureau. That's Experian. They're the worst one of all of them. They do everything they can to make sure that you don't get the credit you deserve. And I'm going to expose them later this week. Unfortunately, we won't be on tomorrow. The Padres, by the way, how about the Padres? Won 8 out of the last 10 in first place. Do you even know that? You can listen to every single Padres game right here on San Diego 1700 tonight at 7 p.m. and then tomorrow at 9 a.m. Got the early bird tomorrow, so we won't be here. We'll be back on Thursday. But you got to check out the Padres. Support the local team. They're doing great. They're in first place. I mean, come on, get out there. I know it's earlier in the season, but we got a good team. Things are looking good. Let's support them. Remember, you can always go to MrCreditRadio.com if you want to send me an email. Just click on the contact button. You can also click on my educational videos link right there, which is where you can get all the educational videos that I do for you every single week. Or you can go to Facebook and do a search for Mr. Credit, and you can get all my updates through there. I want to get to an email here real quick from Jim in Santee. He says, I spent the last year paying off all my debts, and my credit check recently was very poor. I saved and saved to pay everyone back, but why do I not get credit for it? Okay, so here's the problem, Jim, and I'm guessing a little bit here because I don't have a lot of the details, but it sure looks like what happened was you had a bunch of debts that you didn't pay for a while, and then those went to collections. Okay, and then you said, okay, I'm going to do the right thing, I'm going to pay off my collections, let me get back in here, save up some money, and pay everyone back, thinking that that would clean your credit and get you the clean slate. But here's the problem with that. The problem with that is, and we know this, paying these collections is not going to help your credit score. And in fact, a lot of times it causes it to go down quite a bit because of the way that the system is stacked against you, Jim. The bureaus and banks have stacked it against you. The commonsensical approach of paying your collections off for the sake of cleaning your credit history, clearing up your report, getting rid of the debts you owe, and increasing your credit score is wrong. In fact, it's dead wrong. Collections, which is what I'm assuming you paid off here, Jim, the balance makes no difference. It doesn't matter what the balance is. You get a collection for $5 for some medical unpaid debt, or you get a collection for $5 million. It's going to do the same damage to your credit score because it's the event of the collection. It's the fact that something wasn't paid and was neglected, essentially, and that's why the score comes down. Now, the problem with paying those debts off, because we know the balance doesn't make any difference, doesn't matter if it's zero balance, is that it actually triggers a glitch, quote unquote. I'll call this an intentional glitch in the system, which causes your score to go down significantly because the activity date on that account gets updated. So when the update on that activity to your collection account, which is a very negative account in your report, shows up, it makes the credit scoring model react as though you had just got that collection. So this is the reason why going and paying off your collections is not going to help your credit. And I feel bad, Jim, that you saved and saved to pay everyone back and that you're not getting the credit you deserve for it. But I guarantee you this, no matter what has happened to you in the past, no matter what mistakes you've made, whether it's getting collections, whether it's paying them off, whether it's not paying a bill, whatever it may be, we've got to look forward. And when you can get a good credit score, there's no doubt about it, everyone can have 720 credit. It's just a matter of time. You've got to know what to do first, but it's just a matter of time. And I'm going to communicate back with you, Jim. We're going to find out exactly what we need to do. Remember, the scoring model starts everyone with the perfect score and then looks for reasons to complain and knock your score down from there. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. We can find ways to give it less to complain about, which essentially makes your score stay much higher. And this is the explanation for why someone who has nothing but bad credit on their report could have a 400 or 500 point score. It's not that they're getting 400 or 500 points for something. The scoring model works backwards. So it just looks for reasons to complain. And we can help you fill those holes, Jim. There's no doubt about it. And you do not have to go it alone. This is tough. Credit scoring is tough. It's designed that way. It's stacked against you. The cards are stacked against you if you don't have this information. This is why you should go to MrCreditRadio.com and click on the educational videos link so that you can get some of this information that you really need to know. Or you should listen to the show every day, noon to 1, right here in San Diego 1700. You can also call me. I'm happy to help you. That's my purpose in life, is to make sure that you have this information. And that if you don't understand it, then I'm here to help you with it. Give me a call, 858-571-0271. I'm happy to help you. You can send me emails through MrCreditRadio.com and I'll answer them all day. I'll answer as many as I can for you. But we've got to understand that it's us against them. And there's no doubt about that. And it's getting worse. It's getting much, much worse. Later in the week, I'm going to read to you something from the National Consumer Law Center, where they actually did a study on the credit bureaus and the way that they receive the information that's sent by consumers. And I talked about this before, the OCR. They have the optical recognition software where they don't even look at your stuff. I mean, they're not even seeing it. They're running it through a computer. You write your letter to the bureau saying, hey, I had this mistake on my report. There's an error here. This isn't mine, whatever it may be. And no human being even looks at it. And if a human being does look at it for some reason, they're overseas. They don't even speak the language. They're in the Philippines. They're in Cambodia, or wherever they're hiring people. And this comes back to the original point of the greed. We've got to know the way that they're thinking. It's all about greed to them. Remember, the bureaus, these are the people who would prefer to be sued and pay out tens of millions of dollars every 2 or 3 years for different lawsuits than actually do things the right way, because it's cheaper to pay the lawsuits. It's cheaper. So we're going to do things wrong and screw everybody. And where's the government? Do they care at all? Do they have any idea what's going on? Well, let's connect the dots really fast. Credit bureaus controlled, governed by banks. Banks are now owned by who? That's right, the government. There isn't a single bank out there, I don't care what they say, and I don't care what commercials GM is running about how they paid loans back. They didn't pay any loans back. They paid one loan back. They didn't pay all the money back. They still owe a ton of money. And who owns GM anyway? 60% is owned by the federal government. So the government now owns the banks. We're giving them all the money they need to operate. The banks essentially own the bureaus.